Homeowners who couldn't keep up with their mortgage loan payments suffered the most during the Greek financial crisis that began in 2009 and lasted almost 10 years. Since no protective measures for debtors were in effect at the time, banks terminated the loan agreements of those who were unable to pay them off and foreclosed their properties. As the crisis deepened, the state enacted a series of laws that prevented banks and individual creditors from taking legal action against weak debtors, thereby protecting families' homes from foreclosure. Since homeownership is the cornerstone of the Greek dream, the political cost would have been unbearable for any government. The first personal insolvency law came into force in 2010. Since then, thousands of heavily indebted citizens have applied to the courts for a debt relief. During the crisis, Rozzo and Associates law firm stood by the side of the honest borrowers who, despite their goodwill, couldn't meet their loan obligations. Amongst our clients was an unemployed married couple in their early 40s. The wife cleaned houses and the husband loaded and unloaded stock. However, they only were able to work occasionally and were officially classed as unemployed. Their monthly household income amounted to €820 and they had 2 young children. In 2009, the wife had purchased a house with a loan that was co-signed by her husband in order to achieve a lower interest rate, more flexible repayment terms, and lower fees. By 2014, the spouses had lost their jobs and couldn't be consistent with their monthly mortgage payments. Their only debt, amounting approximately to €66,000, was a result of their mortgage. In 2019, our firm filed a court petition for a settlement and a partial forgiveness of their debt, and our petition was accepted. Their family home was saved from foreclosure, and the rest of the debt, after a significant partial forgiveness, was settled in bearable monthly installments. Within the trial, their sole creditor raised the following objections. First, the applicant's failure to honestly declare and report all income earned. Second, the applicant's fraudulent claim of permanent insolvency and failure to disclose their inability to repay their debt. And finally, the husband's trader status, given that he had maintained a small home renovation business from 2012 through until 2014. The court rejected all of these objections. Regarding the objection with regards to the husband's trader status, the court ruled that as a small trader, he could be subject to the beneficial provisions of the personal insolvency law. The court's rationale stated that the income from the husband's sole proprietorship was a product of manual labor and also that the turnover of his business was small and did not indicate significant commercial activity. The applicant's joint debt was settled as follows. The husband had to pay the creditor the total amount of €3,600 in 36 installments of €100. Given that his debt as a co-signer of the loan agreement was approximately €66,000 including interest, this was a decrease of almost 95%. In addition to her request for a settlement and a forgiveness of her debt, the wife submitted the request to keep ownership of the family home. To that end, she was ordered to pay the total amount of €30,000 in 240 installments of €125 per month to her sole creditor. This was a reduction of her initial debt of €66,000 by approximately 55%. If the wife had not requested the protection of the family residence from her creditor, her debt would have been completely forgiven. With this court decision, the family could reintegrate into economic and social life and begin to make optimistic plans for the future. Since 2010, Rozzo and Associates law firm has helped dozens of borrowers emerge from the dark tunnel of financial hardship in this way. We use all available debt resolution mechanisms to negotiate realistic and beneficial payment plans with creditors. If you are struggling with lengthy, complex, and risky loan products, do not hesitate to contact us for a consultation. Thanks for watching.